I never thought I'd be the kind of person who'd dread family gatherings. But here I am, sitting in my car outside my in-laws' house, gripping the steering wheel like it's my lifeline. My name's Isabella, and I'm 32. I've been married to Liam for 4 years, and while I love him more than anything, the pressure from his mom, my mother-in-law, has been wearing me down. It's not just the little comments she makes. It's the way they pile up, each one heavier than the last, until I feel like I'm carrying a boulder on my chest. Today's one of those days where I know I'm walking into a conversation I'd rather avoid. But I can't keep dodging it forever, can I? The main issue, the one that's been eating at me for months, is that my mother-in-law blames me for choosing my career over starting a family. Every time we're together, she finds a way to bring it up. Isabella, you're not getting any younger, she'll say, or Liam would make such a great dad, don't you think? It's not that I don't want kids someday. I do. But I've worked so hard to get where I am at my job, and I'm not ready to hit pause just yet. Liam gets it, mostly, but even he's starting to feel the strain, and that's where things get messy. Let me back up a bit so you can understand how I ended up here. I'm a project manager at a tech company, and I love my job. It's demanding, sure, but it's also rewarding. I spent years climbing the ladder, taking on extra projects, staying late, proving I could handle the big stuff. Last year, I got promoted to lead a major client account, and it's been a game changer for me, not just financially, but for how I see myself. I'm good at what I do, and I'm proud of it. Liam's proud of me too. He's 34, a high school math teacher, and the kind of guy who's steady, patient, always ready with a joke to lighten the mood. We balance each other out. He's the calm to my storm, the one who reminds me to breathe when I'm spiraling. But his mom? She's a different story. She's in her late 60s, retired from her job as a nurse, and family is everything to her. I get it. Her generation had different expectations. She raised Liam and his sister, Ava, mostly on her own after Liam's dad passed away when they were young. She's strong, stubborn, and has this way of making you feel like you're letting her down if you don't fit her idea of how things should be. Ava, who's 28 and married to Noah, already has a 2-year-old son, James, and my mother-in-law treats them like they're the gold standard. Every time we're over, she's got James on her lap, gushing about how he's the light of her life, and then she'll look at me with this pointed stare, like I'm failing some unspoken test. The tension started about a year ago, right after my promotion. At first, it was subtle. We'd be at their house for dinner, and she'd say things like, "Work's important, Isabella, but family's what lasts." I'd nod, smile, try to change the subject. But over time, it got more direct. One night, she pulled me aside in the kitchen and said, "I just don't understand why you're waiting. You've got a good job now. Why not focus on giving Liam a child?" I was stunned. I mumbled something about timing and escaped to the bathroom to collect myself. Since then, it's been a constant drip of comments, and it's starting to drive a wedge between me and Liam. That's not the only problem, though. There's another issue that's making everything harder. Liam's been feeling the pressure too, and it's changing how we talk to each other. He doesn't say it outright, but I can tell he's torn. He loves his mom, and he wants to make her happy, but he also supports me. Lately, though, he's been quieter, more distant. Last week, we got into an argument about it. I'd just come home from a long day, and he mentioned his mom had called, asking when we were going to get serious about starting a family. I snapped. Why can't she just let us live our lives? I said. Liam sighed, rubbed his face, and said, "She's just worried we'll regret waiting too long." That stung. It felt like he was taking her side, even if he didn't mean to. We didn't talk for the rest of the night, and it's been tense ever since. There's also Ava, who I thought would be my ally, but she's been no help. She's sweet, but she's so caught up in her own world, mom life, playdates, all that she doesn't see how much this is weighing on me. Once, when I tried to vent to her about her mom's comments, she just laughed and said, "Oh, that's just how mom is. She'll get over it once you have a kid." Like that's the only solution. It made me feel so alone, like no one in Liam's family gets where I'm coming from. Then there's my own family, who aren't exactly making things easier. My mom's supportive of my career, but even she started dropping hints about grandchildren. "You and Liam would have such cute kids," she'll say, and I'll grit my teeth and change the subject. My dad, on the other hand, doesn't say much, but I know he thinks I'm too focused on work. It's like everyone's got an opinion on how I should live my life, and none of them match mine. The breaking point came a few weeks ago at a family barbecue at my in-laws' place. It was one of those warm spring days, the kind where everyone's outside, laughing, eating burgers off paper plates. I was actually having a good time, chatting with Ava about her new job as a graphic designer, when my mother-in-law cornered me by the picnic table. "Isabella," she said, her voice low but sharp, "I need to be honest with you. I think you're being selfish. Liam deserves to be a father, and you're putting your job ahead of him." I felt like I'd been slapped. Selfish? Me? The word echoed in my head, and I couldn't respond. I just stood there, holding a soda can so tight it dented. Liam was across the yard, playing with James, oblivious. I wanted to yell, to tell her she had no right to judge me, but instead, I excused myself and went inside. I sat in the guest room, staring at the wall, trying to figure out how we'd gotten to this point. That's when I realized I couldn't keep letting this slide. I had to do something, or it was going to break me. The first thing I did was talk to Liam. That night, after we got home, I sat him down on the couch and laid it all out. How his mom's words made me feel, how I was scared we were drifting apart, how I hated feeling like I had to choose between my career and our future. He listened, really listened, and I could see the guilt in his eyes. "I didn't realize it was this bad," he said. "I'll talk to her." I wasn't sure that would fix it, but it was a start. The next day, I called my best friend, Caroline, who's 31 and single, with no patience for family drama. She's blunt, fiercely loyal, and always knows how to cut through the noise. Over coffee, she told me I needed to set boundaries, not just with my mother-in-law, but with everyone. "You're letting them walk all over you," she said. "You and Liam need to be a team, and you need to make it clear this is your decision, not theirs." She suggested I write down what I wanted to say to my mother-in-law, so I wouldn't get flustered in the moment. That's when I started planning. I didn't want to just react anymore. I wanted to be strategic. I knew confronting my mother-in-law head-on could backfire, so I decided to approach it differently. First, I focused on strengthening things with Liam. We started having more open conversations, not just about kids, but about what we both wanted in the next 5 years. It wasn't easy. There were moments where we both got frustrated, but it brought us closer. He agreed we weren't ready for kids yet, and he promised to back me up. Next, I worked on how to handle his mom. I didn't want to fight her. I wanted her to understand me. So, I invited her over for lunch, just the two of us. I was nervous, but I practiced what I wanted to say, thanks to Caroline's advice. When she arrived, I kept things light at first, talking about her garden, her book club, stuff she loves. Then, over sandwiches, I took a deep breath and said, "I know you want what's best for Liam and me, and I really appreciate that. But when you talk about us having kids, it feels like you think I'm doing something wrong by focusing on my career. I want to have a family someday, but I need to do it when we're ready, not because I feel pressured." She looked surprised, maybe a little defensive, but she didn't interrupt. I kept going, telling her how much Liam and I value her support, but that we need space to make our own choices. It wasn't perfect. She said something about how things were different in my day, but by the end, she nodded and said, "I didn't mean to make you feel bad, Isabella." It wasn't a full apology, but it was progress. After that, things didn't magically get better, but they got easier. Liam talked to her too, reinforcing what I'd said, and she started backing off. Not completely. She still drops the occasional hint, but it's not as pointed anymore. I also made a point to connect more with Ava, not just as Liam's sister, but as a friend. I invited her over for dinner, just her and me, and we talked about work, life, everything except kids. It helped her see me as more than just the one who's delaying grandkids. The bigger change, though, was in me. I stopped feeling like I had to justify my choices to everyone. I started saying no to things that drained me, like endless family debates about my life plans. I leaned on Caroline more, and she reminded me to keep my focus on what I wanted, not what others expected. Work got better too. I landed another big project, and the confidence from that spilled over into everything else. Now, sitting in my car outside my in-laws' house, I feel different. Not fearless, but stronger. I know there'll be more comments, more tension, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. I've got Liam by my side, a plan for how to handle things, and a clearer sense of who I am. I'm not perfect, and I don't have all the answers, but I'm in a better place than I was 6 months ago. So, that's my story, or at least, where I'm at right now. I'd love to hear what you think. Was there a better way I could have handled this? Should I have been tougher with my mother-in-law from the start? Or was taking the slow approach the right call? If you've been through something like this, what worked for you? I'm all ears.